This is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another story. We are doing something a little bit different and a one-off little thing. And as you can tell from the title, this will be a Keeper of Lost Cities and Lovely World crossover. Once again, I have already said it's going to be a one-off thing. And if you hear, and yeah. Basically, in a heads up, there will be spoilers for Legacy, the current book as of recording, but by the time this comes out, Unlocked will be out. Yeah, that's something to think about. I don't know what happens yet, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just minor spoilers. Just don't worry about it too much. If you don't want to be spoiled at all, even with tiny spoilers, then don't watch. But if you are interested in either story, there will be links in the description for the places where you go. Like for Stampy's Lovely World, there will be a playlist of its Lovely World and channel if you want to check that out. Share the messenger, I'll have a link to the books so you can check it out if you're interested. And there go the lights.
Greater than 29 hours.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, let's get on with it. There may be some background noise, but that was just my audiobook player. Did you hear that? Luckily, it didn't play any books, otherwise I would have stopped. It didn't play. We're fine. Anyway, this story was just for fun and to see how they could play out together, how the stories could play out together. This will not become a series and will be a one-time thing, so I'm not going into any further detail. Combining two of my favorite series. Feel free to check out both of them in the description if you're interested, of course. And if you just came on, just curious of what this is, then yeah, both of them are in the description too. There's ¡Hola! Silencio, por favor. Let's get on with it. The book didn't play, okay. The sun was high in the sky as the morning steadily shifted to the afternoon. It was a quiet and calm place in the world known as Stampy's Lovely World. The blue sky was vacant of clouds, and the sun poured its light gently down to the land below, greeting it with open arms. At this time, Stampy and William were currently working on the exterior and interior of another building deep in the town. It was a small idea that the cat had wanted to do, and everything did seem to be running rather smoothly. Nothing was out of the ordinary yet. Everything was as it was supposed to be. "Do you have the part of the wall done, William?" Stampy asked from the opposite side of the building, standing on a pile of blocks that would soon make part of the exterior wall. He spotted the beaver's nod simply, which made him smile. This was going well. Stampy went back to work on his part of the building, focusing on it as he did so, keeping an eye toward the sky, hoping it wouldn't get dark soon. The monsters or googlies were plentiful at night, and far more dangerous than he last remembered. Excuse me, I got the sniffles. Just seeing a mass of them once in a while still uneased him. But as they managed it well enough. Sorry. As he continued on, his mind began to wander as ideas swirled around his subconscious. Could he make a good Employee of the Month minigame out of this? Something simple that would be fun for observers and players alike? He pondered that as he built up the wall, block by block. However, he stopped in his tracks when a loud clap of thunder could be heard from out of nowhere. The sound echoed throughout the area as he looked up and glanced around. Startled and confused, he spotted William, alert and uneasy, just as he felt. What was that? The cat wondered, more to himself than to the beaver. Should they check it out? Or was it just a creeper that exploded? Could he even be sure? William shook his head slowly as he jumped down from on top of a wall and began heading towards the path, looking right to left, perhaps looking to see where the sound had come from. It sounded more like it was coming from the park, the cat said. He hoped there was nothing of it. Maybe Fizzy was just experimenting with fireworks and accidentally caused a loud boom. Maybe Polly was working on a new rescue mechanic that went wrong. He couldn't be sure it wasn't anything good or bad. Maybe it's nothing, the cat told William after he watched his friends start heading back. We can check it out later after we finish this. If it's anything serious, we can deal with it. The beaver nodded his head slowly as he jumped back up onto the top of the wall again, preparing to finish what he'd started. And that's what the two of them did for the remainder of the day. They'd be done with this thing in no time. The cat was sure of that. Time slowly seemed to pass as afternoon turned into evening when the cat and beaver placed their final block, completing the exterior of the build. Stampy had one last look at everything, reassured that he hadn't messed something up or did something incorrectly. Which was good. It was satisfying to see something going so well. We should start heading back now, the cat started as he glanced over at the beaver. After, of course, we check out to see whatever noise we heard earlier. I thought I fixed that sentence. Apparently I didn't. Alright. The beaver nodded. No doubt both of them were hoping it was nothing, or it was just a creeper, and that there was nothing amiss going on. Knowing his world, though, and those within it, the cat could never be so sure anymore. As the duo approached the park, the cat couldn't help but let his mind wander. It was starting to get late, which meant the googlies would be starting to come out. He was also tired and wanted to go to bed after a long day of building. Still, he knew he'd feel better if he knew what exactly made that sound. They both would, honestly. When they arrived at the park, the cat hesitated, looking around at the growing darkness, knowing it opened room for loads of googly to spawn and cause havoc. This wasn't the safest place at night, with the limited light and him not wanting to put torches everywhere. Do you see anything, William? The cat asked as he noticed his friend putting on full diamond armor. The beaver always did that when he sensed or saw danger that threatened to hurt his friends. The beaver glanced around a couple of times before shaking his head. No explosion hole on the ground. No sign of something having been there. Nothing. Are we sure it wasn't one of the other helpers? The cat asked. Maybe we should ask them. William gave a firm nod and the cat sighed. We should wait until morning. It's getting late after all. He didn't wait for the beaver's response as he turned to go back toward the house, glancing briefly in the distance towards the island that was the home of two of his infamous villains in the world. The villains that had caused plenty of mischief and chaos before, and would most certainly do it again. Did they have any part of this? He wasn't sure. Of course they did. Stampy ignored the questions flooding his mind as he headed back to the house, hearing the clanking of bones, groans of the undead, and hissing of spiders. He could see some creepers in the distance, which he had no problem dealing with. Pew, pew. The duo walked along the birch and spruce checkered path, the silence of the area growing. However, as they neared the house, the cat could hear something not too far away. You hear that? The cat asked the beaver quietly. The beaver shrugged, looking at him expectantly, as if he was asking him what to do. We can have a look, the cat said nervously. It sounded like something was going on. Was a fight occurring? It was possible the other helpers needed a hand. He would feel better if he checked than to find out later that his helpers did need help, and he wasn't there to help. Stampy quickened his pace as the commotion grew louder. He heard growls of zombies and shrieks of pain from the undead. Something was happening. Were the googlies fighting each other? Or was there something else going on? He had to know. His curiosity was too strong not to. The cat rounded a corner, with the beaver shortly behind, to see, to their surprise, someone standing on top of one of the roofs of the building, fighting off a horde of undead and spiders. The cat noticed that the figure seemed to be a young teenage girl. He couldn't appear to make out much more than that, except for the fact that there was a beam of what appeared to be a red light emitting from her forehead, causing the monster's pain. She glanced over to see when she heard them approach. The cat extended its sword. Her nervousness and confusion was evident in her expression. "We're here to help," the cat exclaimed, hoping she wouldn't start attacking. He saw her nod as he and William charged into the mass and began to attack the monsters. Fairly soon, the majority of them had been exterminated. William dealing with the final ones without issue, as the cat turned back to see the teenager gently float down to the ground. It almost seemed magical somehow. She had long, straight blonde hair and dark brown eyes that were full of emotion, her lacy white dress blowing in the breeze gently as she landed. The cape around her seemed to be the only comfort she had as a chill breeze washed over the land as evening thrived onward into the night. "Are you okay?" Stampy asked her, glancing up and down, not seeing any injuries. She appeared to be just fine. How had she managed those monsters as long as she had? Couldn't be sure. "Yeah, I'm okay, thanks," she said with a shy smile. "That was pretty impressive, though," the kid admitted. "You seem new here, I reckon." "I just got here. Somehow," she said, as she shook her head, the kid noticing the worry in her expression. "How did you get here?" the kid asked. "Not really sure," she admitted. "I was trying to get back to my home when something intercepted me and changed my course. I need to go back. I am being as vague as possible." Stampy nodded. "Well, you can stay at my house for the night, and we can figure out how to get you home in the morning." "You sure?" she asked nervously. "It's not very safe to stay out here at night, for anyone," the cat explained. "Especially not recently." "Okay," she nodded. "What's your name, by the way? I'm Sophie." "My name's Stampy," the cat said, holding on a paw as a gesture. She shook it without hesitation, the cat noticing her stifle backing off. "Come on now. We need to get you to a bed to rest. It's been a long day for you, I bet." "It definitely has," she admitted quietly, as the cat led the way back to the house, his mind full of questions as he held them back. He didn't want to overwhelm her with them, especially after whatever had happened. No doubt she was scared being in a new place and worried about her friends and family back at home. He could see that, feel the sense of urgency rubbing off her. Hopefully he could do what he could to help. It was the least he could do. In the meantime, though, they would have to deal with it tomorrow. Morning seemed to arrive sooner than the cat had expected. One moment he remembered making sure Sophie was comfortable in the guest room before climbing into bed, and the next he was opening his eyes to a brand new morning. He climbed out of bed, spotting Barnaby and the oldest dog in the pack, sitting on his dog bed, expectantly. As always. "Good morning, Barnaby," the cat said with a smile. He walked out onto his balcony, not seeing any of his helpers outside, having told them he was going to try to help Sophie today, rather than finishing the build. It was a chance to give them a day off. She felt they deserved. They worked hard to help him when they didn't have to. It was fair that he'd give them the time to themselves, and if they wanted to tag along, they could. It appeared everyone was doing their own things today, which he was fine with. "Come on, Barnaby, we should get you to the doghouse after breakfast. You'll be safer in there with all the other dogs," the cat reasoned. "There's no telling what we might find." The dog let out a low whine, what sounded to be a small complaint from the dog. The cat sighed and shook its head. "No, I don't know what's going on, boy, but it can't be good." Barnaby emitted a low growl before standing up to his feet, cat smiling as he went to dig into his breakfast cake. It probably won't take long anyway, boy. We'll be fine, you'll see." The dog said nothing as the cat dug into its breakfast, taking time to enjoy each big baby detail. "Come on, Barnaby. Dropping you off at the doghouse now won't hurt," the cat said calmly, reasoning to give Sophie more time to rest. She needed it after all. It's a weird coloring tea. Sure enough, the cat found no problem taking Barnaby to the doghouse and dropping him off. The dog was eager to be with his doggy companions again, no doubt. Stampy would leave them to do their own thing as he walked back into the house and towards the guest room. Before he could barely knock on the door to let her know that he was there, the door opened and the cat could see her ready to go. A smile slid on her face. "So, where should we start?" the cat asked, deciding to get to the point. He knew she wanted to get home as soon as she could. There was no need to be around the bush with this girl. "I don't know. Probably the big area where I landed," she asked him curiously. "The park?" the cat replied. Yeah, she said with a sigh. "Well, William and I didn't notice anything when we looked there, but maybe we missed something," the cat added. "Why don't we go back to get a double check?" "I guess," she admitted, as the cat stepped aside, letting her descend the stairs first. He followed her towards the entrance of the house, opening the door to let her through. "So, can you explain to me what exactly happened? Did you see anything strange when you arrived?" the cat asked. "No, really. Just a weird whirring noise and a clap of thunder," she had been. "Alright. Well, there's an island near that park with some not so nice people reside," the cat said carefully. "I was wondering what was on that island," she pondered. "Nothing good." The cat tipped a chuckle as they began to walk. "I have two villains that have attempted to steal my dogs and take over my world for years. They've done pretty crazy things that resulted in pretty close calls before. It just seems strange that your arrival occurred near their castle." "I'm sure it's nothing. Probably an error on my part," the girl responded quickly. "Does it sound like an error on your part?" the cat asked, raising an eyebrow. "I have a photographic memory, so I guess not," she said sheepishly. "Got it," the cat said with unease. "Hopefully it is just nothing then." "Whatever happens, we'll figure it out," she said confidently. "Definitely," the cat agreed with a nod. Hope filled him as they neared the park. Perhaps they would find something there that could help his new friend get home. He certainly hoped so. They finally arrived at the park. Its emptiness seemed to echo beyond the horizon. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary as Sophie went in first, arriving at the center of the park as she stood. "This is it?" the cat asked her calmly as he approached. "Yeah," she admitted. "Just don't want to try leaving in case whatever that machine is comes to life again." "You're sure it's a machine?" the cat told her. "It was a whirring sound," she said firmly. "Pretty unmistakable if you ask me." "Okay," the cat nodded. Stampy nodded as he glanced around the area, trying to listen for any sound that might suggest some sort of machine. There was nothing. "You're still uneasy, aren't you?" Sophie finally accused with amusement. "Yeah, what'd you guess?" the cat mused. "Your sounds are fairly loud," she said. "Wait, you can read my mind?" "You can read minds?" the cat asked in surprise. "Yeah," she said sheepishly. "Cool," the cat said knowingly as he looked around again. "Something's not right here." "Yeah, I can tell," Sophie agreed. She glanced around to take a look. "Should I go and take a higher perspective?" "Yeah, maybe from the sky at a restaurant," the cat offered. She shook her head. "It'll take too long to get up there." The cat watched in stunned silence as she began to rise slowly upward, levitating in the air as she looked around. How was she doing that? What was he missing? "See anything from up there?" the cat asked her loudly. "I don't think there's anything up here." She started just as an arrow flew past her. She yelped in surprise as she lost her concentration, plummeting to the ground. Stampy quickly caught her in time before she could land on hard ground. "What was that?" Sophie asked in surprise, as he led her back at her feet as he stepped away. Stampy didn't respond as he glanced slowly towards the tree, further away from them. Two figures appeared out of nowhere, almost like magic. He knew better though. This couldn't be good. Standing before them were two figures, side by side. One of them was that of a tall man in red and gold robe, and a golden crown resting on his greasy black hair. His beady black eyes squinted as he saw the cat, the bushy mustache bristling a sneer on his face. He was holding a bow, but not aiming it at them. Beside him was a woman who was also in a red and gold uniform, with a gold hat that had a golden flower fastened to its rim. The cat knew these too well. Oh, too well. What do you want? The cat asked slowly, stepping in between Sophie and the two newcomers. He knew she could handle herself, but knowing Viva, there was no telling what might happen if she, Viva, splashed a potion of some kind. I've mentioned it before in Clockwork Chronicles stuff. Humans have a different effect on potions than these type of people. The villain silently watched for a moment or two in silence, the cat uneased by the moment. If they wanted to attack them, surely they would have done it by now. I think they want to help us, Sophie said quietly to the cat. You sure? The cat asked. It could be a trap. There's a machine that had the capability to get me home again. Stampy. It's better if we go willingly so we don't have to worry about an attack, she said quietly. Are you sure? He asked. I hope so, she said simply. Can you read anything else? The cat shook her head. You're still too loud. The cat laughed softly as he turned to the villains. Okay, if you think you can help us, we'll go with you, but if you take one step out of line, we will fight back. The two villains nodded as the cat eyed them for a moment. That means putting away that bow, hit the target. The target sighed, rolling his eyes as he put away the bow. Satisfied, Stampy began walking toward the castle, keeping a wary eye on the villains, who were following behind. They walked on the ice towards the island, the cat still feeling uneasy as they went alone. He knew that he couldn't trust these two, but he had to reason that at least he knew where they were. They weren't trying to steal his dogs or trap him somehow. Yet, they were helping, which seemed awfully strange, if he had to be honest. I know you don't want to trust them, but at least give them a chance, Sophie's voice whispered in his mind. The cat swallowed, but nodded, understanding. It didn't hurt to give him a chance, even though it did feel wrong to do so. He's not hard at all. They approached the castle as the cat climbed the stairs, each step feeling far more dreadful than the last. The castle towered over them as the cat approached it. It did not hold good memories in the slightest. There wasn't much he could do about that now, though. He had to think about more than just himself, after all. He wanted to make sure Sophie was able to get home. So, this is it? The cat asked Sophie out loud, deciding to allow the villains to hear them. He didn't want them to think that he was suspicious of them. No doubt it was pretty clear he was, but he did want to give them a chance. He just hoped he wasn't making a mistake in doing this. Oh, you hiccups. Sophie nodded as the cat let her walk into the castle first. The cat not too far behind. Stampy could see a machine in the corner of the room. It was about half as tall as he was, with a simple redstone mechanics. It seemed to be some sort of transporter device. Do you need me to help you figure that out how to use that thing? The cat asked Sophie. She nodded. Yeah, this is foreign to me. The cat nodded as he walked over to the machine and looked at the controls. Everything seemed to blur together as he tried to understand it. Stampy? Sophie asked nervously. The cat looked up, seeing that Viva Dash had blocked off the entrance to the castle and hit the target, cutting off the way to the roof. Its target was now holding out his bow at the cat, fierce determination in his eyes. What are they trying to do? The cat asked Sophie as he went over to her side, extending his sword, ready to do his best. Nothing good, obviously, she replied. It was a trap. I thought as much, the cat said. Can you try to get yourself home while I hold them all? By yourself? She asked in surprise. I'll deal with it, the cat replied. You obviously need to get home. She's told us so much before. I could try, but please be careful, the young teenager stated. I will, Cat replied, and he watched as she slipped toward the machine, just as an arrow whizzed by him. Stampy jumped aside as he tried to guide the target away from Sophie. And the target shook his head and he smiled, no doubt biding his time, as the cat looked warily over at Viva, who was holding what appeared to be a potion of harming or weakness of some kind. They were very close to the same color in this lighting, so it was hard to tell what exactly it was. I'm not sure what your plan is at the target, but it won't work, the cat replied confidently. The target sneered again, and he shot another arrow. The cat dodged it again, and he attempted to charge at the villain, but the cat was pushed back by a splash. As the potion struck him, the cat hit the target come from behind, and disarmed him as the cat was forced to retreat. Oh no! The target's gaze was fixed on the cat as Stampy looked from him to his fallen sword. Should he lunge to get it? But the target tried to stop him? Suddenly, the target groaned in pain as he fell to one knee. The cat noticing Sophie from behind, holding him down with that same red energy as before. Grab the sword, Stampy! Sophie strained as the cat went for the blade and grabbed it, stepping away from the target as she noticed Fever Dash heading towards Sophie. Look out! The cat cried in warning. He watched his viewers threw a potion at the girl, but before he could hit her, it stopped in midair before hurtling towards Viva, who leaped out of the way. Sophie finally let the target go. As the cat watched as the target turned to face him, the cold expression on his face. Was it triumph? Stampy, Sophie warned slowly. Get out of here, now! But, the cat asked as the villain took a step closer. He wants to use the machine to trap you, Sophie said slowly. I can't let that happen. Run. You'll be okay? The cat asked. I hope so, she nodded. The cat glanced from her to the villains, who were trying to get him off. She was right. Staying here could risk something not going good for him happen. And if he was taken out of the lovely world, there was a chance he might not come back. Hating every second of it, the cat charged toward the exit, hearing footsteps behind as he ran over to the bridge. He hated the thought of leaving Sophie alone with those two in there. Hated what might happen to her. What if she wasn't able to get home? What if it was all just a ploy? No. He made it to the base of the stairs when he heard a large explosion from behind, as he whirled around to see the castle above. Sophie has somehow managed to bypass the two villains and got to the roof, gently levitating, and the castle revealed a hole on the side. The machine had been destroyed, and Sophie hadn't gone with it. Sophie, over here! The cat called as he waved his arms. It took a few moments for her to notice him and safely land on the ground, running towards him, almost appearing instantly in front of him within seconds. You okay? She asked him hopefully. I was more worried about you than myself. What happened? The cat asked. They destroyed it, obviously, she said. It failed to do its intent and destroyed itself. That's both good and bad, the cat sighed. You're still here. I know, she nodded. But I think there's a way for me to get home. There is? The cat asked hopefully. Yeah, but first, let's get away from this place before your villains have any ideas. Right, good idea, the cat said with a laugh as they both walked back towards the town. The cat both intrigued and curious as to what his new friend had planned. If it got her home safely, he would be happy. It was where she belonged, after all, where she needed to be. Stampy and Sophie finally arrived at the house, the cat knowing something was up. His friend had a plan to get home, and he wanted to make sure it went smoothly. What do you need from me? The cat asked. Do you have something you can get that can get us high up? She asked. Yeah, I have the hot air balloon, the cat offered. Can't you do that on your own, though? She shook her head and smiled. I want a proper goodbye. Plus, it'll be less terrifying. How was anything that happened today not terrifying? Cat asked. Just trust me, Stampy, Sophie replied. It'll be easier. Plus, you can get a good view of your world. I suppose, the cat said. Celebratory goodbye, then? You could say that, she mused, as the cat gestured to her to follow. Having no need to say anything more. He knew what she wanted, and he could provide that, at least to the best of his ability. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the hot air balloon. The cat offered a hand to help her up. I can do it, she said to him simply, as she climbed the ladders and entered the balloon. Stampy climbed in shortly behind. Are you ready for this? The cat asked. Kinda, she said. I need to get home, but I'm gonna miss it here. I probably won't be able to come back again, despite the photographic memory. Cat nodded. I understand. I hope this works out. Has this ever happened to you before? She asked curiously, tilting her head slightly. Maybe, the cat replied as he went to put in the fuel needed to lift the balloon. I guess we have our own secrets that we need to keep. We should have, she agreed, as they began to rise into the sky, Stampy doing his best to steer the balloon where it needed to go. Not that he could really control the balloon. Once they were high up in the sky, high enough for Sophie's satisfaction, Stampy looked around the area quietly. Sad but happy. Bittersweet. So this is it? He asked. Looks like it. She replied quietly as she looked his way. You look like you're gonna cry. I'm fine, the cat assured her with a smile. Just be careful out there. I can only say I'll do my best, the girl responded. As can I, the cat replied with a smile. Take care. She nodded as she stepped up on the ledge of the balloon. The cat's nervousness, no doubt, causing her to turn back. Look back. Trust me. I know what I'm doing, she told him softly. I know you do, the cat replied. Just weird. It's not like you didn't do something similar. She smiled. That's not what I meant, the cat said. You're far different than me and my friends. It'll be like a blink of an eye, she assured him. And maybe a little noisy. I can handle noise. The cat laughed. Then that's my cue. Then she said as she hesitated, before glancing back once more. Finally, she took the leap. The cat looked down. Sure enough, she disappeared like a blink of an eye. Roll of thunder could be heard echoing far beyond the horizon. She was gone. He knew deep down she had made it back to where she needed to be. He was glad. Everything once again went back to what it was meant to be. Spent a good hour or two flying on his hot air balloon before landing his bittersweet relief. Filling him. Hit to target and Viva Dash, his plan was thwarted again, and he was able to help out a friend in need. It was enough of a wild day for him. Tomorrow would be a new day, and he would be ready for it. He always was. This was his lovely world, after all. Oh, yeah. If you guys... Yeah. If you don't know, he was referencing a recent Hit the Target attack. As of recording this, probably now by the time this comes out, there will be at least one other. At least one. Maybe two. Depending on when this comes out. Depending. Yeah. There will definitely be one after. Basically, Mirror World. Something similar happened indeed. Definitely not what he meant. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think and if you have any ideas. And yeah. Basically one of the only few couple times, unless statues. Like, yeah. I don't have to do the statues. If I want to do the statues, I can do the statues. There's nothing about it. Anyway, I'm rambling. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, if you want to stick around, feel free to check out all the other videos. And yeah, my Hit the Target playlist, which may help you get a better idea of who Hit the Target is. Especially the top video. Top video at least. Will help you understand up to Mirror World. As for after, that's on you. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.